Hi, and welcome to another episode of Visual Content Creator. Today, we have something very cool. We want to show you how to animate photos and even paintings.
As you can see here, I bring a classic painting, which is from the world-famous painter William Turner. So this picture is basically free to use, as you can imagine, because he's longer than 70 years, 6 feet under. And I tried to bring it to life and made a video out of it. And we're gonna show you how to do this, step by step.
Did Mr. Turner move the clouds, or did you do that?
He's very famous for doing beautiful clouds, and really, he's really a color artist and one of my favorite painters for sure. But I tried to move his clouds a little bit. And do you want to see how that works?
Yes, of course. Please show us.
So what I basically did was I edited the picture that is stored as a JPEG on my phone with a simple app, and that app is called Werble. Here you can see there are quite some amazing images and shots that people have done with Werble.
We have to mention that Werble is Matthias' absolutely favorite app. He's almost addicted to it. So it's really
totally. Totally. So I'm really going crazy on this one for sure. And I hope it doesn't get too nerdy. I try to keep it simple for you. So if you hit the W on the bottom, you basically enter your gallery. As you can see here, couple of images, but I want to edit this painting, let's say, and I have several options. So let's paint this. I can crop it, of course.
You found it on Wikipedia and did like a screenshot and so on, and then you, just saved it in your photo gallery.
Yeah, I downloaded it so that I have the best resolution, and stored it on the photo gallery. And now I use the original size. Maybe I'll leave the frame because that might look interesting actually when the painting is moving inside the frame. So
did it come with a frame?
It came with a frame, yeah.
All right.
So I have to give credit to the photographer who was so kind and went to the museum and shot this image for me. So as you can see here is basically all of my money I put into several filters I downloaded. Werble comes with a pack like 5 or 6 different filter collections, and I added a couple of them, a couple of add-ons, which are about the price of a Starbucks coffee. And yeah, to be honest, yeah. So I think I spent about $20, $25 total. But you really get an app that comes close to After Effects, really. After Effects for a smartphone. So let's see what I can do with this. Maybe let's have a look at the image. So we want to animate the skies and maybe the water a little bit. And we also see that smoke coming out of that steamship here. And maybe we can animate that as well.
Oh, yes.
So at the very first place, I scroll down here, and somewhere we have blue sky, basic skies here, that one. Let's see if we can find a nice sky that comes close to what we see here.
These are stills now, or are these skies moving? Because it doesn't show really.
I choose one, and you will see. I choose the one in the upper right corner, and now it's bringing it in, and now you see that it's moving. Yeah, so it's a loop. And I can just basically pinch and bring it to a spot where it might look realistic. So I choose that brighter parts here and bring it close to the sun. And maybe I'll just scale it up a little bit just by pinching with 2 fingers like that. Yeah. And of course, I have to work at on the borders to make the frame visible again. So, but that looks, in the very first place, quite okay for me. And now I can, on the very upper part, I can choose that tool here. You can see on the top part of the app, And now I can mask the image. So there's a mask tool here. I can easily zoom in here and then remove
Oh, nice. So you
everything
just
that
with your finger, right? Like
yeah,
easily.
yeah. I'm just painting with the finger, and I can just scale it up with my finger, and so it's really easy to hit, to not take away too much of it. And if I do so, I just switch here and bring it back.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask, because I have these
Yeah.
thick fingers.
You got, yeah, I remember. You got, yeah.
So what do you do then? Then you just switch to the to the brush, to the paint, and
Exactly.
it seems to touch a little bit like the smoke, the roof, and the steamship over there. Can you still? Yeah, you can adjust that as well, or
yeah. You see, you got all sorts of brushes down below that are very soft, and I can remove slightly. I bring this back in here, just very, very carefully, softly, like that. And of course, to make it more realistic, I switch, I leave the mask, and then you got the blending tool down below and in the lower left corner, blending. And now you bring down the opacity a little bit. And so you can see, you can smooth it, and it is more kind of a mixture. And you can also switch from opacity to mode. Then you have like overlay or screen. And that makes it even
more
more
or less like transparency, right? And the original sky will still shine through a little and makes it more real.
Exactly. So this one's quite nice, actually.
Oh, wow.
As you can see now, it's really getting a realistic touch. You can always come back to the mask tool, so it's non-destructive. And you can say, okay, let's bring back in some more of the clouds maybe, or let's take it away again. So you can really experiment with that to give it a more realistic touch, like this maybe. Okay, so we got the illusion that the sky is already almost working. So now let's add another element and
One
go
more question.
Here.
Referring to the speed, to the movement itself, can you vary that as well, like the clouds, the speed of the clouds, or the direction even, or so? Can you do something with the movement?
Yeah, absolutely. You can. Each layer has all these options. As you can see, you have different filters. You can also change the lighting and the color of the sky to make it more, to make it a little darker, maybe to add some realism. Or you can blur it, and here's the time thing, and here you can speed it up. And the clouds are getting faster and faster and faster.
All right. Okay. Wow, that's very fast. Yeah.
And
then you wanted to add another layer, right?
Yeah. So I'll open up another layer. You see I got that black square here in the middle. So I'll check if we have some nice open water here, and maybe the right part of the image where the sun's going down fits pretty perfect to that sun, to this one here. That looks pretty good. So let's bring this down right here where the sun is setting, and there is some shipwreck or something in the water there, so we don't want to lose that. We'll see how we'll bring this in. And now again, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. So ideally, like the whole lightning atmosphere will match the original painting or photo, of course. And yeah, like the reflections and take into regard like where the light's coming from and so on, right?
Exactly, yeah. Check out if there's any, like the sun, of course, which is visibly the dominating light source in this image from Turner. And now I'm just trying to adjust a little bit. So maybe make it a little brighter, add some gamma maybe or less, so that I come close to, that the edges are going close to the look of the water in the painting. And always the blending is always a good thing, because here you got, as you can see, if I blend it down, I don't lose that movement on the surface of the water, that stays, but the borders of the image, they are fading away, and that's makes things a lot easier. So, and now I'm pretty close to a good result already, so I don't have to be that tough with the mask. Maybe that's just enough to just softly remove these parts here. And yeah, perfect. As you can see, it looks like the sun is reflecting in the water and the water is moving. Third thing, we add some smoke. Smoke is one of my favorite things, brings some drama into the game. As you can see, all kinds of smoke that we have here. And the smoke of that steamship there that is bent to the left by the wind. So maybe we have a smoke source here that is a bit bending to one side. Maybe that one here that is bending to the right, actually. So we I can flip it easily.
Oh, okay.
Just with transform, I guess. Yeah, here, right here. And you can also edit the 3D perspective. It's just crazy, yeah. Or you can, I just flipped it, or now I move it a little bit like this. And let's see, then we have, so make that one always, if when you're unsure, go to the plus here and zoom into the canvas. And you can edit far more precisely. And then remove that plus, and then again like this, so that we really bring this into the existing part of it. And maybe use the mask tool again.
What about the color? You can change that, I guess.
Hopefully. Yeah. It would be better, I guess. Let's see. Of course you can. So all filters, all additional things you apply, you have the option to edit the color.
Wow.
And you go to color here, and now you can go to the hue. And as the original smoke is pretty orange like this, we can close to the original here. Maybe get the saturation a little down, don't overdo it, just carefully, maybe like this. Maybe go to the lighting because it was quite dark. Yeah, something like that maybe. Yeah. Contrast, that's really fine tuning now, as you can see. But
yeah, maybe the opacity as well. Yeah.
Yeah, opacity is good. Yeah, that's good. Go to blending, go to opacity, turn it down a little bit. Yeah, and now we're getting there. Okay. Zoom out. And as you can see, we have a nice result, and we bring this classic image to life. One might ask, what can I use this for? Example, we did that for a documentary about climate change, for example. We wanted to tell the story that climate change basically started when we started burning fossil fuels during Industrial Revolution. And it's pretty much impossible to get moving images from the Industrial Revolution because moving images weren't invented at that time. But you have a lot of great paintings and painters from that time, from 18th century, that tried to establish a realistic way of painting and to show the work life of the labor forces that had to go into the big steel factories and work pretty tough there, like 14, 15 hours a day. So we took one of these pictures actually from the Industrial Revolution and added all sorts of fires and smoke in it and sparks that were flying. This is all inside this app actually. If you go here and check, you don't have the smoke, but you also have all kinds of flames, for example. And you could also say, let's say we bring this ship, we set this ship under fire.
Okay, wow.
And this is what we did with these classic images, actually. Where you can really have some magic here.
So interestingly, you use Werble, an app
Yeah,
for it's iPhone and Android, or is it just iPhone?
I think it's iPhone only, but there is a substitute which is called Vimage. It's with a V and then like image, Vimage. We can put this
Okay.
in the description below. That comes pretty close to Werble, actually.
And you use this app to animate paintings and photos, to use it within your TV documentary. Is that what you did? Because this is really interesting, because usually people would think to use After Effects or like more complex software.
Exactly. I think that's something that makes filmmaking and also TV production and broadcast production so much easier, to combine a lot of things, to combine smartphone apps that you can use to create certain effects. And the resolution is absolutely sufficient to put out a full HD image. And the quality of those images is really cool. And of course, it's, especially if you work for social media, if you create social videos, and you really want to create astonishing visual effects, you can easily do that. You find a couple of them on the visual content creator account on Instagram as well. We played around with that in the Reels section, for example. And it doesn't take much time. It's so quick, as you can see what we did right here in like 15 minutes. To mask this out, to do this in After Effects, it takes way longer.
So I think Werble is not the only app there is to animate photos, paintings, whatever. There's also, like, for example, Pixaloop. Why do you like Werble so much in comparison to other apps?
I think it's, yeah, for me, it's more fun editing with it. And in my opinion, I got a little more control of what I really need there and what I would like to use. There are many filters which I would never use, and so I don't need to buy them. So it's basically you buy packages in Werble, and in Pixaloop you have the subscription model, and I think it's a one-time payment which is very high priced. And in comparison, I decided to go deeper into Werble. But what I really like about Pixaloop, for example, is this automatic detection of the sky, even if you have really tiny contours of buildings or trees. And Pixaloop is, the artificial intelligence is figuring out that pretty precisely, and is just exchanging skies, for example. And that's pretty amazing.
Okay. So, I mean, meanwhile, I'm a fan of Werble as well. Before, I didn't know it. You recommended it to me. I tried it various times, and now I'm really, wow, this is, I mean, you can do so many things with it. So it's really cool.
Let us know if you have any questions about the app, about Werble, for example, or if you have any other recommendations for apps. We are glad to know, and hope to see you soon on this channel.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.